And now moving on to South Africa, where a recent opinion poll by the Kyiv International Institute of Sociology, the KIIS, has shown a 10% point increase in Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's approval rate. The poll conducted between February 14th and March the 4th found that 67% of Ukrainians trusted Zelensky, up from 57% a month earlier. Now, the results suggested that U.S. attacks on Zelensky's leadership have consolidated support for the president, with Ukrainians viewing Trump's rhetoric as an attack on all of Ukraine and all Ukrainians. The results were similar across the country, with a slightly lower trust rate in the east at 60%. The researchers behind the poll said the cancellation of military aid was not fully reflected in the results and would certainly affect the public mood. Now, on this matter, joining us to look at this developing story is Festus Tokumbo, a global affairs analyst based in the United Kingdom. A very good evening, Mr. Festus. Thanks for joining us on the program tonight.
Thank you.
Now, you heard what I read, just read. Now, looking at the back and forth between Zelensky and the U.S. President Donald Trump. Because if you watched, I believe you watched the talk when Trump welcomed Zelensky to discuss with them, where Trump and Vance had a heated argument. What can you say about this this whole scenario that is playing out?
Thank you for having me on your show. President Zelensky is a brave leader that has been leading Ukraine since the war broke out 2 years ago, and has been to rally many countries to the Ukrainian cause. And under the administration of President Biden, the Ukraine was enjoying massive support in terms of military support and financial support from the United States. I mean, when it comes to financial support, it was responsible for about 47% of U.S. financial aid to Ukraine for the war, and in military, about 50%. So, but the turning point, I mean, in this war is the emergence of President Trump, the U.S. president, who is not interested in continuing the war. He is not interested. I mean, he has promised during the campaign that he's going to end the war in the short period. So, I mean, it's not. I mean, President Trump is not interested in providing financial support or military support. As a matter of fact, today he stopped the intelligence sharing with Ukraine. And the fact is, I mean, the main factors that have sustained this war over the year has been the United States support. What that suggests is that without the U.S. support, I mean, Ukraine will not be able to cope to stand Russia. So, today every actor of the war are interested in peace, but the main problem, the main obstacles against peace is conditions for peace. I mean, the main reason why Russia invaded Ukraine was because of Ukraine NATO's ambition, and Trump has made it clear that Ukraine will not be able to become a member of NATO. And he has even said that many of the territories that have lost during the war, like Crimea and some of the southern Ukraine, it may be difficult to regain it. And U.S. is pushing for a mirror deal with Ukraine to recoup their investment in the war. I mean, Ukraine is interested in the mirror deal, but they want a security guarantee, which U.S. was very willing to consent to. So those are the disagreements. And I mean, what I believe are the actors in this war should try to reach a consensus and achieve sustainable peace, because the war is no longer sustainable. Millions of lives have been lost, billions of dollars. The U.S. taxpayers are not interested in funding the war again. And even the war has created a lot of division among the European Union, coupled with the U.S. policy under President Trump that is not, that has been at loggerhead with some of the former allies like the United Kingdom, France, and many of the European Union countries. So, Ukraine domestically, President Zelensky, is well supported in terms of when it comes to domestically. When it comes to international relations, he needs the support of these big powers to get the best out of the peace negotiation. So I think, he must be able to engage the United States diplomatically, because anything Ukraine looks to get from the peace negotiation depends so much on the United States. And I know many of the European countries are aware within, but US has a major role to play in any kind of peace arrangement that is going to happen. So Ukraine must engage US diplomatically. I mean, my idea is that I believe that if giving up the ambition of becoming a NATO, it should be able to regain many of the lost territories. And I believe Trump is not giving that assurance. And that's my concern because, and I believe that, about 3 weeks ago, Trump asked about 90 minutes telephone call with President Putin. Probably they might have discussed on the terms to end the war. I believe that Trump may be playing based on President Putin's terms, which is not the best. I mean, in the long haul, Ukraine must be able to regain many of those territories in exchange for abandoning the NATO's ambition. That's what I feel.
At least standing up to even Putin all this while and making it at least get to this point where we are today. But where I see it, looking at all these policies that Trump is bringing up, and I see it as it's not really trying to just take advantage of Zelensky, because that's the way I see it. But I don't know, I might be wrong. Is it trying to take advantage of Zelensky, or is he just he's just looking at the business side? Because right now, even Zelensky has a point after the meeting he had with Trump and Vance. He said he's ready to come and discuss and let them just do this. He's just interested, doesn't just make the peace. But I see it as, just like you said, it feel maybe Trump is playing to the hands of Putin. But I still see it as Trump himself just trying to be a boss of his own self. I don't think he's actually playing into the hands of Putin, but he's just trying to look at the weak side of Zelensky, who really needs help. Because truly, once you need help, you feel vulnerable. So he's looking at Zelensky that he's already vulnerable. So I think he can play. And looking at what he's looking at, doing a mineral deal with Zelensky and now looking for a 50% cut from it, I don't see that as being fair. I see that maybe he's looking, or he's just playing, playing on the vulnerability of Zelensky. I don't know. I might be corrected. What do you think about this?
Exactly. I mean, there are a couple of factors. The fact is, the one factor that Trump is not interested in the war. He wants to end the war as soon as possible. 2, he wants to make sure that the American investment is well recouped, it is recovered, and that's why he's going for those minerals. But I mean, in doing that, he actually need to carry the allies along. I mean, for example, the U.S., President Trump policy since he became the president, it's created a lot of division in the European Union. I mean, many of the leaders were formerly banked on the U.S. for security and not thinking about militarization. For just yesterday, you have budgeted about $800 billion for the defense and security, because they could not. They cannot depend on NATO anymore. And if I want to believe that one of the factors that have deprived the Third World War for over 81 years is based on monopolization on the European security and defense by NATO. Because you see the major war we've had in the past, the First World War, the Second World War, both the First and the Second World War happened in Europe. They were happening within the European countries. And the biggest task, the Trump administration, is sending a wrong signal to some of his allies. These are long allies that depend on the US for military support and financial support, one or the other. But everybody's telling we cannot depend on the US again. This is on the Trump administration policies, and I still believe that they still have to be more diplomatic in handling the situation, because they should not. It should. As you said, it may be playing on the vulnerability of President Zelensky, but I want to agree with that, because if you look at European countries, they see just so much support from the European Union and many some other countries like Russia or Saudi Arabia. But the problem, the US support is a factor. If it's going to be any form of peace in the world, the US has a major role to play, and that is why I think they are going back to the round table now. This is what has been coming up yesterday and today. I think they were discussing now. The US team, the Trump team, are now engaging France, Macron, and the US Prime Minister on how to achieve sustainable peace in this and what is happening in Ukraine. I think it's not coming to realize that I can't do it allowed to engage some of these actors, because the fact if Ukraine, as I said earlier on, Ukraine is willing to forget about its NATO ambition, it should be able to regain its lost territories. That, I mean, it should be a factor. And I believe that the European Union will never go into any deal without Ukraine regaining its territory. And that's the problem. That is the main problem. Fine, as you say, Trump should have his way with Zelensky alone. But with the European Union, with the UK, it's very difficult for him to he has to go back to the round table and make sure that they agree on a peace, an agreement that is agreed by all the actors that are involved in the war.
All right, thank you very much. Looking at the time, I wish you had more time to discuss on this because I have a lot to want to discuss on. But due to time constraints, we won't be able to continue. But I want to thank you very much for joining us and sharing light on this, back and forth between Russia-Ukraine war and with Trump being involved and being the centerman in this peace deal. Thank you very much, and very thanks for joining us this evening, Mr. Festus.
Thank you.
Hello. Hope you enjoyed the news. Please do subscribe to our YouTube channel and don't forget to hit the notification button so you get notified about fresh news updates.